Hi everyone, Emma here. I'm so excited to show you. Today we're going to do herringbone and we are going to do something like this. So this was the example I had um, shown in the preview of the different herringbone bracelets that we were going to do, and this one got a lot of attention. Um, and you know what? I initially, I was kind of thought that it didn't turn out because I felt like these part here with the gold had kind of buckled and wasn't sitting the way I wanted it to sit. But you know what? A lot of people commented on it, so I thought we should try and do this one again. Um, so that's what we're going to do. So let's get started. I have some 8/0 Toho Round Silver Lined Milky Peachy Pink. These are lovely. They're one of my favorites. And we are going to use these lovely iridescent gray pearls, 4mm, from their Preciosa. They're gorgeous. So I have one right here. And then for the beading around this, we are going to use the 11/0 galvanized champagne rocaille. I'm using dragon thread gray. There's no particular reason for the color. I'm running out of everything else, and I know that their green is out of stock. So I've been using the gray for the most part. It doesn't, you can't see it through the beads, but we'll see how it goes. So for this, you don't need a stop bead. And as you can see here, we need, if you count the ladders, so I mentioned in the last video, let's enlarge this, these like sets of 2 beads are considered a row, or they call them a ladder. So there's 1 ladder, 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to do 4. So we're going to start with 4 beads of the 8/0s. And I'm not worried about my tail because I'm just doing this as an example. But normally I would leave a considerable tail to add a clasp, and especially for the way I've done this clasp, you need a lot. So just come down through the bottom of the first 2 that you put on like that, and pull it down. And my thread here. Okay, so you're coming out of here, you're going to go back down these 2 beads like that, and it will straighten them out. There. Just gonna tighten both sides. There we go. So we'll just keep going like that. Now we're going to add 2 coming out of this bottom bead. You're going to go through the top, adding on those 2, and then you're going to go up those 2 to kind of secure them and get them nice and snug like that. And I always pull, straighten them out a bit. So go ahead, pick up 2, come down through the bottom, and then you're going to go down those 2 beads you just added. So now you have 2 ladders. So we need 2 more. Pick up 2. And put those in there. Then go up like that. Pick up 2. Go through the bottom. Get around. And put those in there, and then go back down. Tight. So we have 1 ladder, 2 ladder, 3 ladder. We need 1 more. Got 2. So you can actually see a bit of the thread, but you know what? it almost looks like it's part of the bead, where the bead has that silver lining inside, so not a big deal. There, pick up two. And that way. And go down. So there you go. So you can, normally with herringbone, is your threads coming out the bottom, you go up through the second bead on top of it. You usually add a bead here, but I don't want to add any embellishment to the outside. So what you can do is you can go up the bead beside it, and just that bead like this, and then go over to the bottom of this bead and go through, and then you're set up ready for your herringbone. So when you use that technique, as you go up, the edge of your herringbone will straighten out. So I'll show you. So you can see how these beads are very straight in a line, rather than like this accentuated V shape that you get. So instead of being a V, there is a bit of a V, but they really tuck in. So it's fine. It looks good. It looks, you know, like a finished edge. So let's hang on to our beads. Pick up two. You're coming out of this bead here. You're going to go down through this one and only this one, like that. Okay, I need to move that other bracelet. Okay, so, oh, somebody was saying you could do something like that to your thread and it will get them to pop into place. Okay, so you're coming out of this bead, you're going to go up through this one here, like that. Add two. Coming out of here, we're going to go down through this one. That. And coming out of this one, we're going to go up through this one. And pick up two. We are coming out of this one here. We're going to go down this one. These beads are so beautiful. Okay, we're going to go up through this one. And pick up two. And go down through this one. There, like that. So now we're going to turn it over. So again, I'll just quickly explain. With regular herringbone, you take your thread coming out of this bead, you're going to add a bead and then go through this one. So to avoid doing that and having a thread or a bead, because we want it just plain, we're going to go up through the bead next to it, and then bring it over to this one here. And then that thread will hide between those two beads. And you're ready for your next row. So we'll just keep going. And I'm going to adjust the camera just there so that you don't lose me at the bottom of the screen. And now I'm going to cheat and I'm going to go through the top of this one, but up through the bottom of the next one and get ready for the next. And that just goes faster. But if you have issues with tension, then you want to make sure you do both steps separately. But I haven't found it to be that much of a problem with tension. So, and I really want to get to the point where I'm showing you how we're going to split this open and add the beads. And those last two. That. Turn it over. Go up through the next one. Through the next one like that. And see, you'll see where the thread kind of gets tucked in there. That. See if I can hang on to this here. Okay, and then come up through this bead here. And again, your thread is going to just tuck in. So there you go. So we'll do a few more of these and then we'll start adding the bead in the middle. Like that. So I hope you guys are doing well and not too cold. We had a really sunny day today. They called for rain and we're supposed to get a crazy cold snap tomorrow. Yet we got out of the pool this morning and got outside and had to take my jacket off, and it was crazy. It was so warm. Just going to extend my thread here. And just a quick reminder about changing where your thread is on your, or your needle is on your thread. And I think it's more of a reminder to myself because I noticed the last couple of times I went to move it and there was like a really bad like section in the thread, which is not good. So we're going to go over like that and back over. So I think we might start to increase here just because I should have put a longer piece on the thread. So the outside ladders are always going to stay the same. So even when you get to here, they're always going to stay the same. And I mean, basically the middle ladders do too, but we're going to separate it. So we're going to start with 1 bead, 2 bead. So here's how you determine how wide to make it. Now this is maybe where I made my mistake, is I added 2 beads next to the 4mm bead. So the idea really should be either, one option is to have the 4mm be attached without anything on either side. So then this increase that you do has to match your 4mm. So what I mean by that is you take your little beads, your 11/0s. So I'm going to put a few, maybe 4 on my needle like that. And then I'm going to, now you can measure this with a ruler, or if you know the measurements of your seed beads, you can just figure it out. So that probably looks right. So that's probably as wide as I want to make it. But if you want to put a seed bead on either side, then you got to do something like this. So there's your length, and then you're going to put seed beads on each side of that. Something like that. So you see how they there. So that's where your measurement is. So you got to think, okay, so each row I am going to add, we're going to start with 1 bead, then 2 bead, then 3 bead, till we get to, what did we put, 6 on there. So let's try that. Let's try it. Keyword. So we'll start with our 2 here. There. And 2 more. So this time I'm not going to go through the next bead because I'm going to add, I'm just thinking, does it add it underneath? It does too. I'm going to add a bead in here. So pick up an 11-0 and go through your next bead. Like that. So it doesn't look like much there, but once we start adding more than one, pick up your 2, go through here and through here. There. That. Pick up 2 of your main bead, 8-0s. Go through here. I'm going to turn this around. And let's get those there. Okay. Do the turnaround here. So you go up through the bead beside it. And that pulls everything tight. Then you can bring your thread over if you want and then go through here. So now pick up 2, go through the next one, like that. Pick up 2, and this time don't go through, just go down through this one. That positioned. Now you're going to pick up 2 11-0s. That. And you're going to go up through the next one. So you can see it's starting to push it aside. And you can kind of coax it as well. Yeah, you got to make sure you get these guys nice and snug. Okay, pick up 2, go through here, and those in place. Pick up 2, and we're going to turn it around. That. So up through here. We're probably going to need more thread. I cannot believe how much thread this uses. So I wasn't thinking when I took a small piece. So pick up 2, go through here, and then add your next 2, and just come out the bottom of this one. Place. And pick up 3 11-0s this time. And you can go by 2s as well, but I feel like it looks better when you do a couple at a time, or 1 at a time, like an increase of 1 at a time, like that. Yeah, that's starting to look lovely. So let's go. Pick up 2. So the gold actually looks really lovely with the peach. The gold is champagne. It's really nice. You know what happens is I order beads, like colors like that, and then I get them and they're so nice. I'm like, oh, I wish they had 8-0s. Why didn't I order, you know, the other sizes to go with it? But that's like an endless journey of bead searching. So you can see how these are kind of stacking the way, instead of this kind of situation. So we'll do one more row, and I think what I'll do to avoid spending time tying off and whatnot, I'll just take a piece and we'll put a stop bead, and then I'll tie it off later. So we'll go down here. This is really looking amazing. Now I did pull out some other colored pearls, but I felt the gray was the one that suited the pink as the best. So now pick up 4 of your 11 O's. So you're coming out of the bottom here, you're going to go through the bottom here. Like that. Just make sure that doesn't pop off. Okay, so now pick up 2 8 O's. And pick up 2 more. And rather than worry about this one, I am going to bring it all the way down. I might tie this one off just because. Did I put 3 on there? I did too. Sometimes it happens, you pick up 3 beads instead of 2. I can't get that thing on my needle. My thread's so short that, there we go. Okay. That. Just quickly tie this off and we'll get a fresh piece. Oh yeah, look at how short this is. I should show you a trick that I learned. So you can see I want to wrap my thread around the end of my needle so that I can pull it through and create a knot. So if you get stuck where there's not enough there, just take your thread off the needle, wrap it. I do twice, you don't have to do twice. And then take and put your thread back on your needle. Just wrap it here. I'm using a size 10 needle, so it should be pretty easy to thread. There. Okay. Now I'm just going to hang on to where I wrapped it around, like that, just so that the knot doesn't come away from it. And you can see it did come out a little bit here. Just kind of coax it with your nail. And then go through your beads, and when you pull it, it will cinch it in place. And you're sure we're not tangled here. That. So there's that. So let's go ahead and grab a piece of fire line. I don't know what I'm going to do when I run out of this stuff. I actually have it like ready to order. I have it in my cart, but they still don't have any green size 6 available, so I'm kind of waiting for that. And I just pull my thread at the end to kind of flatten it. It just makes it easier to thread. And let me I'm just going to grab one of these for my stop bead. And I'll leave enough till I can tie it off. That. There. Okay. I'm just going to go up that end. And you can do this too, like if you want to, for whatever reason you want to do your tying off at the end. So we'll just bring this back here. And there's your stop bead. So pick up 2. This is getting exciting. I'm like never sure how it's going to look. So when I get to that point you put that bead on, you're like, oh my gosh, looks amazing. So go down this one. So we still have a few more to add on. We're going to add 5 this time. We added 4 here, and we counted 6 with the bead. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're coming out of this bead here. We're going to go up through this one here. Oh my gosh, this is looking amazing. And it's really flat. Isn't that funny? Now, let me see. Put the pearl next to it because I don't want it to get too big. I think there's one on that side, one on that side. I think this might be the end and just put one seed bead. So that's exciting. Yay! We were out at the grocery store today and this lady came up to us. We were kind of debating what to get for Halloween candy. And she and her daughter were like, oh, you should go to Giant Tiger. I don't know if they have those in the States. It's kind of like the old style 5 and dime store. Okay, let's turn this around. And she said that they have a sale on the Halloween candy. So we're like, okay. She's like, yeah, I'm heading there right now. We end up running into her and her daughter in the store. They sold out. She felt so bad for sending us. And I'm like pointing to her going, you sent us here. I forget sometimes people take me seriously when I say stuff like that. I'm like, no, I'm just kidding. So I had to be careful. But anyway, so we left there and we went to Walmart. And Walmart had plenty. So the kids will be happy. You know what Jen said when we got done? We got home. She said, I think we have too much candy. I forgot that the box was 100 in the thing. I'm like, yeah, well, you can eat it. She's like, yeah, I guess. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, we're grocery shopping. And I point out they had like Jolly Rancher and stuff like that. And she says, oh, I don't like those. I'm like, it's not for you, it's for the kids. I'm like, you're not fooling anybody. Okay, so I should tell you, I took one 11-0. Let me show you what this looks like. One 11-0, the pearl, and another 11-0. And I'm just going to pull it through, and you can, at that point, judge if it's enough. We may have, so there is some space there. So I would probably add 2. I mean, I don't want to add 1. It'll look silly. So let's go back out. So I didn't tell her that Jolly Ranchers are the ones that I like. So much for keto. No, I actually bought some Werthers that are sugar-free. They use like sugar alcohols. They're incredibly expensive. Now, each small piece of candy averages out to about 20 cents. I have 1 or 2 in the evening and that's it. So I wasn't too worried. Okay, so we have 1 there, 1 here, then the pearl. Ah, you know what? I'm thinking maybe we should add the next. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe we should do the row of 6. That would make this even. I think that's what we better do. Get some more of these. So this is like kind of organic. You got to figure out by what bead you're using. I mean, you could use like a flower bead that would look amazing here. You can use whatever you want. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. go through here. And it's funny because that's what I said initially was 6. Ugh. So yeah, Halloween's a big deal in our neighborhood. Our neighbors, a couple of doors down, it's funny because they're 30-year-old boys. Used to live with them. I think the one has now got his own place, but they're right into Comic-Con and stuff. The parents are into it more than the kids, and they call it HalCon, so it's Halifax Comic Book Festival, I guess. So they they have like these huge animatronic things, like a dragon that blows smoke and roars, and then they have these headless henchmen that talk like they're movement sensitive, so they move around and talk when people walk by them. So, and they put stalks of corn stalks all the way through their lawn, and headstones, and so yeah, it's a big deal. There's always a big, the parents end up stopping and talking to them and stuff. So it's a lot of fun. Okay, so now bead time. So I think we're gonna need 2. Let's test this theory out. If you want a very specific design with bead numbers and colors and measurements, my channel's not the channel for that. This is a very organic process. It's much fun. So look at this, is gonna be amazing. Here's the other thing, you can use a bigger pearl as well, but I feel like the bigger pearl might be too big. I'm just looking at my wall of pearls here. Oh, decisions. I think we should leave it like this. Look at that. Oh, that's gorgeous. So here's what's going to happen in the next row. So you can see this space is wider from this bead to this bead. So that's where you get the buckling. So if you tighten, I say that very cautiously, if you tighten this, this is going to start to bulge. So I wonder if doing less seed beads on the pearl would help that. We're going to leave it for now. It's one of those days, indecisive days, which is every day for me. That's why, like, with my unboxings, I'm like, oh, let me just get one color of each. I can't decide. Jen's like, what did you order now? Nothing, honey. Every once in a while, I make sure I order something for her so that she's not too upset when packages come to the door. So I ordered her, we couldn't get Hall's cough drops. We needed like the large bag and couldn't get them, so I ordered them through Amazon. So she was pretty happy. Okay, pick up 2. Go through the next one. So I should tell you too, so that I am new to this whole situation of herringbone. I really love it. I've done a bunch of stuff, but I'm still new, so just be kind. But I'm also like so excited to show everyone. So we're gonna need at least 6. So there's 4 and 6. I think that was 4 and 6. Okay, so let's go across to this one and see what happens. We may have to pull it in a bit. So I pull it in a bit. It's not too bad. Like, it's not buckling majorly. It's just arching a bit. So let's try that. Pick up 2. Go through here. Like that. Pick up 2. Go down this one. I'm just going to turn it, make it easier here. Flip that one. And I'm going to go up this one here. And let's see if I can pull this a little tighter here. There. And then over through here. Oh, that's lovely. So if you didn't have anything you wanted to put in the middle, you could always just put beads all the way through. Pick up 2. Go through here. And so when I pulled that tight, it kind of pulled everything in a bit, so that's fine. Pick up 2. And put that in place. So depending on which side you want it to go, but it doesn't matter. You saw how easily I was able to pull it through. So we have 6 here, we want 5 now. So you just decrease every row. 5. Go up to this one. So yeah, I think with this with the decrease is where you start to get the shape. Pick up 2. And pull it tight. Or I should say pull it snug. You don't have to pull it tight. Go down through here. Put this in place. And we're going to bring our thread through that bead. There. And bring it over to this one here. Pick up 2. And pick up 2. Now we're going to need 4 11-ohs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. And up through this one. That's coming along, looking amazing. This is looking even more amazing than the first one. Like that. Tight. 2. I'm going to turn this. You can see how lovely this is coming. It almost, did I pick up 3? No. It almost looks like a pearl inside a oyster shell. Clam shell. I'm not sure which it is. Somebody will correct me. So let's go up here. And then through this one. Pick up 2. Go through here. Tight. Pick up 2 and go through here. Okay, so now we need 3 beads, 11 O's. Coming out of here, we're going to go up through here. Snug. Pick up 2. So you can do these with size 11O beads. I just decided to stick with the 8Os because it's a little easier to see and a little easier for me to maneuver on camera. But this design, like as you can see, and this was early, well, this was before YouTube for me. And like just before I started YouTube, I started doing some of the bracelets with Mila. And so yeah, it looks lovely with 11 O's. And this is a fire polished bead. So, and then these are 15s. So it looks lovely. Through. So then when you're done this section, this increase decrease, it's up to you how many you want to add to your bracelet. Let me just get this here. So in this one here, I did 3. So then I decided, okay, how many rows am I going to put in between each? So because these are 8Os, they're quite big. There's 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows. So, and then I think I did 10 on each side. This one here, this was Mila's design. I think she probably only had 3 or 4 rows in between each. You can see how loose my tension is. You can really see the threads. Amazing, eh? But I hang on to this. It means a lot to me. Okay, where are my 2? Okay, I need to come up like this. Okay, pick up 2. So we went for a swim this morning, and then we went to a grocery shop to get the Halloween candy. And we were in the grocery store, and a lady and her daughter were like, oh, you know, Giant Tiger has them on sale. And so Giant Tiger's like a old style 5 and dime. They kind of have everything. They have a bit of food. They have mostly clothing and shoes and household stuff and whatnot. But so we're like, oh, okay, we'll go there next. We go there. The lady was there that told us to go there. They were sold out, and she felt really bad that she sent us there. So then we went to Walmart, and we did manage to get some sale Halloween candy. I'm going to extend. I put a big piece, and I'm almost at the end here. So I thought it was funny because we got home, and my wife said, oh, I think we got too much. And I said, well, that's fine. You can eat it after. She said, oh, yeah, that's true. They're chocolate bars. I'll eat it. Like, that's right. So when we were in the grocery store, I was pointing out the Jolly Rancher and Skittles and things like that. And she's like, no, I don't like those. I said, Jen, it's not for you. It's for the kids. She's like ignoring me, right? So, of course, then we got the others. Oh, and then when we got home to boot, she's like, put those in the basement. I'm like, why? I'm just gonna put them in the dining room. No, if I see it, I'll eat it. Like, oh my God, you need help. I'm doing keto, so it doesn't matter to me. I'm like, you could lay a pizza in front of me. It's not gonna bother me, right? But now that's a lie. That's the one thing I miss is pizza. And I think part of the reason I miss it so much is I'm lactose intolerant. So I can't have pizza ever. I mean, I have considered ordering a pizza without cheese, but Jen won't let me. She's like, that's a waste of your money. She's the smart one, like the money saver in the family. Uh, how'd you guess? All my unboxings? So this is actually looking incredible. This is amazing. You know what this kind of reminds me of? Those peyote bracelets where you and Stephanie from Bronze Pony does them and shows a tutorial, and I haven't made one yet. I have to make one where you start out with 11 O's and then you build up so that it gets bigger in one spot and then it goes back down. Let me just get that in there. We'll do one more row just to top it off. And then I'll quickly show you an idea for a clasp on it. This here. Like that. So once you get going on these, you get really fast. I've been working on some other stuff too. I'm trying to get through these guys to show you so that I can start showing you the others. You know what's going to happen. I'll be like on to something else after that. It's not necessarily my attention span. I just get so excited. I do stuff and then I'm like, okay, let me try this. Let me try this one. So there is what it looks like. You can imagine if you had that going around a bracelet. So you could do it with just the one too, and put like a focal bead that, like a beautiful check bead, like a flower or something like that, or a bigger pearl, and just do that for the middle. But definitely a bunch of these all the way around would look amazing. So that's that one. So this is the style of clasp, and I got these on AliExpress, and they are fold over clasps. So they open like that. Show you both sides. So what I did was I started from the end of my bracelet and I added 2 beads, went through the clasp, these loops, then added 2 more beads and went down the other side. You don't have to add it that way, and I'm not really sure that it worked out the way I wanted. I feel like they're splitting open so you can see the thread. I would have preferred them to be kind of lined up like this. And I guess I can go back through the beads and pull them in like you would at the end of your peyote. So then it looks like it's an extension of the peyote. And you can always do, but you do need to conceal. I feel you need to conceal the loops. So let's see what we have here. So let's remove our needle. And we'll do this here. And this one here, I am just going to do one pass on it and then I'll reinforce it off camera. Just because, again, there's not enough thread here. What was I thinking? I need to be like Spider-Man, have the thread come out of my wrist. Can you tell I'm thinking about Halloween? The little kids are so funny. Where's my gold beads right here? So I'm using Ado's gold for these. The little kids in the superhero costumes when they come for Halloween, I always make references to whatever superhero they are. They're like between 3 and 5 years old, so you can imagine they're hilarious. So this one, what is going on with this one here? There we go. So you want to make sure you have your clasp on the correct orientation. You know, not like this. This is upside down, like that. Keep your bracelet to the front, and then, so if you're not sure, you can always reattach it to the other portion and then attach it this way. That way you ensure it's not on backwards. And I have put them on backwards multiple times. I speak from experience. So I put 2 8/0s on this last strand here. I'm going to go through the outside hole. I'm going to pick up 2 more. And then I'm going to go through I'm just going to turn it, and I'm going to go through this bead. So here's the other thing you can do when you're adding your clasp, is make sure you go down a bit rather than just on the end beads. You don't want to create too much tension on that end bead if it gets pulled for whatever reason. So sometimes what I do is I alternate it, so I'll go down, say, 4 beads. See if I can get it in there. Go down 4, and the next one I might go down 2, so that you're not creating a line of tension on a whole other set of beads. Let's put that. So now to go over, you just, same as you would with herringbone, I'm going to go over to the next bead and then come up that end bead like that. And don't worry that this isn't tight. When we pull this, pull it tight. So I'm going to flip this back to the front, make sure everything's in the direction that I want it. This does not look right here. Yeah, I guess the clasp on the other side is going to fit in this little slot. Okay, so I counted how many holes, and I like things to even out. There's 7 holes and there's 8 beads. So what I did was I went through every bead and added 2, except for the middle 2. I only added a set of 1, and it's really, you really can't tell. So let's pick up 2. We're going to come up through the back. And just for continuity's sake, I'm kind of going the way I added. Front to back, back to front, that kind of thing. Pick up 2. We're going to go down that same bead. Now we might just go down 2. And come out here, that. And again, no big deal, it's loose. We're going to tighten it. And tighten it how you feel you want it. The beads don't have to be jammed up against each other. So you're coming out of this one here. We're going to go into this one here. Like that. Pick up 2. Go through the loop. Pick up 2. And then we're going to go down through that same bead. down 3 this time. That. Okay. So if you look, these 3 here are going to match up with these 3. So that leaves these 2 for this one spot. So let's go up over to the next row, through, pick up 2. We're going to go through that one hole. We're going to pick up 2, but we're going to go down the next bead here. And like that. And again, it looks a bit off right now, but once we get those 2 lined up, you're not even going to tell. That. Pick up 2. Pick up 2. Pick up 2 Pikachu. And go through that same bead and down a few into here. Unhook that. Oh, cross over to the next row. These Picasso beads, and maybe it's just the Picasso, reminds me of burnt marshmallows. I just love the look of it. Pick up 2, go through that one. Pick up 2, and go through here. I pushed them to the back. I should have gone through the back, but I'm lazy. Okay, and we need one more. There. Oh, we actually need more than that. Two more and that's it. That. And through this back. Let's see if I can tie this off. So I'm going to go through that again, so I'm not too worried. That's 1, 2. And down. So there is this one here. So that's that side and that side. So let's get this open here. So there's the clasp. There's the front. Like that. Lovely. And of course the one we made today, this is looking amazing. So here's the other thing is you can embellish these as well with little beads along the side, and like it's really endless what you can do with these guys. So it's really pretty. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you you enjoyed that, and we'll see you in the next video. I have so much more fun stuff to do, so I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Super fun. Take care. Bye.